Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Believe the impossible. I am reading a text from John chapter 6, verse 12 and verse 13. When they had all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. Let us take a second look at a familiar Bible story. In fact, this story is recorded not once, not twice, but it's recorded 4 times, once in each of the 4 Gospels in the Bible. Not all the accounts carry all the details that we know, but we will focus on the big pieces. No pun intended. It is an unbelievable story. But is it? Did this event actually happen, and how do we explain it? After all, the 21st century student needs information that explains a phenomenon. That is one of the reasons for school, to teach us about the mysteries of the world. We can explain how a Boeing 747 aircraft that carries as much as 400 passengers and weighing approximately 875,000 pounds can stay in the air for hours without falling from the sky. Let us therefore seek to understand this old story. Jesus is the main person in this story, and it happened during his earthly ministry. Bear in mind that Jesus, who was an itinerant preacher, miracle worker, lived in Israel more than 2,000 years ago. He was very popular because of the miracles he performed and also because he was an amazing teacher. Thousands of people would follow him for the what next. On this occasion, he was in the vicinity of Galilee, and a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the signs he had performed by healing the sick. It was late afternoon when Jesus realized that these people had not had a lunch break all day, so he told the disciples to feed them. This is not a small church congregation, and the disciples did not raise funds to do any such thing. Jesus did not have a credit card, and there were no food courts nearby. By the way, each of the 4 accounts said that there were 5,000 men present, but this was not a men's convention, and so one of the accounts said include plus women and children. The disciples were tame in their response. One of them came up with a smart response to show Jesus how crazy his idea is, or how smart he is. He said it would take 6 months' salary to buy enough food, not including fried chicken and sodas, just bread alone, to feed the crowd. That's important to know. But all this time, Jesus was not breaking a sweat. He was going ahead with the idea of feeding the crowd. Then one of them, Andrew, found a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But even as he was reporting this great discovery to Jesus, he expressed great doubt. He said, "How far will they go among so many?" I suspected that Andrew believed that Jesus could do something with that small amount of food, but how much would this help? You see the severity of the situation, given the facts as we know them. Now we get to the crazy part of the story. Jesus took what Andrew had brought to him. Yes, he did. We will have to see this, the disciples thought. Then Jesus asked them to get the crowd to sit on the green grass in groups of 50s. Then, like only Jesus could do, he took the 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, and he gave thanks and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. You heard correctly. Jesus took the lunch of a young boy, not a grown man, and as calm as ever, he prayed a blessing over the 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. All eyes were opened, staring at Jesus, because nobody wanted to miss what he was about to do with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, and to attempt to feed 5,000 men, plus women and children. Then Jesus distributed the 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, meaning he broke them up and he gave the disciples to distribute among the crowd that had 5,000 men, 5,000 grown, hungry men. Now, are you ready to look at the text? When they had all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, "Gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted." So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 small barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. They all ate enough, which means everybody had a bellyful from this 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. You know, there was nobody there who would be so considerate as if to say, "It is not enough, so give my share to that little old lady in the next group." They all ate enough. And as if that was not crazy enough, Jesus told the disciples to collect the leftovers, not the scraps, the leftovers. They collected 12 baskets, and I don't mean paper bags, 12 baskets of leftovers. Maybe 1 basket for each disciple. Now, can we have a conversation about this? Let's work with the minimum of persons there that day, 5,000 men. Jesus took the lunch of a little boy, lunch that was meant for 1 child, and he prayed a blessing and used that to feed this crowd of at least 5,000 grown men. I'm here to tell you that it happened because Jesus is able to do the impossible. Over and over again, Jesus showed the people that he is able to do far more than we could ever imagine. Jesus is all powerful, meaning there is nothing that he cannot do. Jesus once said, "With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible." And I mean all things. Well, let us get a little bit more personal. What is that one thing in your life that is impossible? Yes, you. A life-threatening diagnosis, a huge financial debt, you can't seem to find a wife or a husband. It is all set. You are going to lose your job. Your son is being destroyed from drug addiction. Can you think of something you wish could be changed, but it looks impossible? This same Jesus, my friend, who fed at least 5,000 men plus women and children with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, and then collected 12 baskets of leftovers, he can do a miracle for you. Believe for the impossible. Believe for the impossible. And my friend, when it happens, please send and tell me about it at friendofclyde@gmail.com.